Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with Jackson Pinkoski. If you have a cleaning company that you are working too hard, making too little money, working too many hours, you're in the right spot. We're going to help. So for those of you guys that are fans of the podcast, Jackson is our marketing guy. If marketing happens for our clients, it is done by Jackson. He does some stuff for us. He does stuff for other people. He is really, really good at marketing. Don't be fooled by the baby face. He's actually much smarter than his cherubic cheeks would lead you to believe. For those of you joining us on YouTube, for all you podcast people, just trust me. He looks, if he didn't have the facial hair, he'd look like he was 12, but he does. So we let it slide. So today, most of the time when Jackson and I get together, we talk about straight up marketing, one to many, right? I'm going to put out a message one time and put it on some sort of platform that I'm hoping many people will get. Lots of benefit because so scalable, right? Like you can just absolutely have one message that works. You can put up on, there's a near infinite amount of ways that you can get that message in front of people, but it has its drawbacks, right? Like to Jackson, I can go, well, tell me about that. What's going on in your life? And I can customize every part of the message to him and his pain and what he needs. And we can really get clear on if I can help him or not. When it's marketing, I'm going to do my best to say, hey, this is for married dudes and, that part of the country with, who are interested in marketing. And, if I said that, I'd probably get Jackson, but we can't ask and go forward. So for those of you that are like marketing and sales, what do those have to do with one another? Marketing is just, sales is a message one-to-one with lots of ability to customize and influence and make on-the-spot decisions. And marketing is one-to-many with no ability to customize once it's been launched. So today, we're going to just do a little fun thing and talk sales. So that said, before I start ranting, Jackson, any questions, comments from your perspective dealing with all our clients? Anything you think that they need or want about when it comes to sales?
Yeah. I would say don't think sales or marketing is one's more important than the other just because they serve or they act on the customer in a different way. They're both very critical to business growth overall.
Yeah, agreed. And my least favorite, I think what a lot of owners do, and I would call it a mistake, is they want their salesperson to be a marketer and their marketer to be a salesperson. I'm confident if I don't even know Jackson's skill set. That's how little sales we ask him to do, which is zero because he's so good at marketing. He could probably sell right now. And if not, I'm very confident we get up to speed pretty quickly if that was something he was interested in doing. But sales is great as a salesperson. Marketing is great in the cleaning industry as a marketer. But trying to have one guy do both, rarely are they able to do both and be good at them and be something that you can afford. And even Jackson, who's really good at it, if I asked him to do both and say he was great at both, but he had to do both, it's a lot. So I would have your marketers market, your salespeople sell, and they can communicate with one another, right? Salespeople are generally a good marketer because they just take all the stuff that works that they, especially they've been talking to your market for a long time and they find certain word tracks that work. Guess what? Those will probably do great as marketing and vice versa. Jackson will be able to go into our clients and be like, I know exactly what works because I know what attracts them. So that's the first thing. I would have them be two different people or companies or however you want to handle it. That said, the biggest thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to sales is because I love you guys, owners of cleaning companies. So I'd say the vast majority say things like, I hate sales, or I'm not good at sales, or, I don't want to pressure people, or they have a real negative taste when it comes to sales. And that's typically because we only remember the bad experiences that we have. Many of you have had great salespeople, but you don't recall them, or you just thought them as someone who was helping you out. You didn't really categorize them as a salesperson. You thought they were just someone helping. And the only ones that you certainly remember salespeople, were jerky people that were just trying to sell you something and didn't care, or didn't know, and didn't add any value to the process. So we associate quote unquote sales with that experience. We're like, I don't want to push people and do crap they want to do. It's like, good. That's bad salespeople. I shouldn't say bad salespeople, but it's wildly ineffective salespeople. That's a crappy job that we don't want to do either. So I just want to start the conversation with, when we walk into sales, if you categorize it in your brain as something you do for someone, not something you do to someone, it's a service, not a bully or a manipulation, that'll help a ton. So for the rest of this conversation, if you just take down the I can't sell, I hate selling, I don't want to do that to somebody. It's like, we don't want you to do anything to anyone either. We want you to do something for somebody. So the shortest lesson on sales I've ever heard and most effective, and I got it from a guy named Jack Daly, kind of more of a sales trainer. Um, 4 words: ask questions and listen. That is really all it is to sales. And a lot of us get afraid because they don't want to push people. Good. You shouldn't. They feel like they have to be silver tongued or speak really well or be able to like say crazy stuff and like sell ice to Eskimo. The really good salespeople I've heard are none of those things. They ask really good questions and they listen really intently and they really give a crap and they dive in. Tell me about that. Why does that work? How does that make you feel? When's the last time you felt that way? If you don't change it, what's going to happen? Why is that bad? How is that going to make you feel? And they're really just there to get to the bottom of the problem. And if you think it's something you can help them with, then you shall. And if it's not, you'll still try and help them. Like, hey, I don't think we'd be the best fit. Like, you need X, Y, and Z, and we really do A, B, and C. Maybe I can give you this direction, or maybe. So if we're really just there to solve a problem and to help them, it takes all the pressure off of pressuring somebody into doing something, because you're not. You're just trying to help them get clear on their problem, the consequences of that problem, and try and help come up with a solution. And if you know you're really the best solution for them, regardless of what you want, yeah, you can advocate powerfully for them. Be like, oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes. Not pressure them. Just get excited for them because you know what they need and they know what they need and you know you can help them and you're excited to help them. That's a great energy. And if you're like, gosh, if we're really honest, we're not the best fit for them, then tell them that. You don't have to feel guilty like I got to sell them or close them or talk them into this thing or that thing. It's like, no, you don't. Just try and help them. And if you help enough people, you're going to be great with the money. All right. That sounds real frou-frou, Jackson. Give me some feedback. Give me some questions. Push back. Tell me I'm full of crap. Hit me with what you got, my man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't listen to a lot of sales speakers, at least I haven't in a long time. But I think, God, and it's probably a sales guy. I'm not, or a business operations guy, because I'm not smart enough to think of this on my own. But I was talking essentially like when you're selling to people, you're never selling something that they don't want or don't need, that they either know consciously or subconsciously about that, right? So it's not like the pushy car salesman or the pushy mattress salesman. It is literally, like you said, you're not selling them a service, you're not selling them cleaning, you're not selling them on yourselves or on your ability to operate the business. You are literally just talking to them about what their problems are and if you can help them with that, right? And just like a natural byproduct of that is that they're going to pay you to solve this problem that they have. You're not, and as soon as you start pushing it onto them, even if they do end up becoming a customer, those tend to be your worst customers, right? Because you forced yourself into them, and then they forced into liking you. So it's already like you're fitting a square peg into a round hole, basically. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you completely take the I have to sell and I have to get your cash, your hard-earned money at the end of this conversation, potentially, if you take that out of the equation and, like you said, just listen to them and go through it, like you'll know pretty quick if it's going to be a good fit or not a good fit, and if they're going to want to be a customer or not be a customer.
Yeah, it really changes a lot when you're trying to do what's best for them. Truly, not just saying that, but really that's what you want. It takes so much pressure off of you and off of them. And paradoxically, that almost always is what's best for you as the owner. So I'll give you an example. I actually owned a car dealership, and it made me think of it when Jackson said mattresses.
I'm sorry.
No, it's a perfect example. So many of you I've been to a car dealership, didn't like it. Even after I owned a car dealership, I didn't like the process. And I knew all this stuff, and it was still like, ugh. We bought a Tesla, none of that crap. We just went online and ordered that bad boy. Anyway, there's a lot of like the real bad ones. They open your goddamn door for you. Like you pull in and it just feels like they're kind of like on you like a vulture, right? I always been a man my whole life. Can't imagine walking into a bar or something as a attractive woman and just that same feeling of like just a bunch of people kind of like globbing on you, right? Just it's yucky. So when we had our car dealership, it was in Phoenix where it'd get hot quite a bit. And you could see people like pulling into the lot, looking around like, are they going to whatever? And they get out of their car, kind of whatever, like run away towards the cars. And no one would come outside, nobody on the lot, nothing. And we would give them, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 minutes. And we would start walking out and you could see them tense up, like their body laying, oh, here it comes. Here comes a hard sale. So we'd stop like 20, 30 feet away from them, way away. So we're yelling across the lot. Hey, it's kind of hot out here and it's nice in there. Don't want you to feel in love, but if you need anything at all, just let me know and we're here for you. And before they even answer, turn around, head back to the lot without even waiting for an answer. Inevitably, 80%. Hold on, I have a question. Oh, how can I help? Changes the whole goddamn conversation. That's all we did. One switch from opening the door, like the energy, just leave me alone, to I have a question. Can you please come here? And that changes everything. The sale's so much easier, helping them so much easier when they're like, I have a question. Can you please come help? Like we're doing them a favor. Yeah, happy to help. What you need, man. Very different energy. And let me open the door for you. So I don't think that is absolutely step one. I'll give you a couple other things and then I'll let Jackson come in with anything else he wants. The other thing, which I don't hear a lot, so hopefully if you guys have done any sales training, that do for the client, not to the client, really look for their needs, help them. Hopefully that's some stuff that you've heard. I just wanted to give you permission because a lot of owners of cleaning companies feel like they have to high pressure or just be pushy, and they're just not who they are. So I just wanted to be abundantly clear. That's not only not effective, but even if it wasn't effective, if you're just a person of integrity who's uncomfortable doing that, it's not going to be effective for you. So give yourself permission to not do that and still have the opportunity to be wildly successful. The second piece is not only are we going to do what's in their best interest and ask a lot of questions, but if you feel it, say it. I find a lot of the problems with sales is everyone's pre-programmed, right? Like we're pre-programmed the car dealership to open the door, and they're pre-programmed to try and get away from us. And they're pre-programmed to act like money's not the issue or whatever. And we're pre-programmed to try and get as much money. And it's just a weird like dance of, when you walk into a store and you're like, hi, can I help you? No, thanks, just looking. Even if you desperately need help, you don't say, yeah, I very much need some help. You go, no, thanks, just looking. And they're like, why did I do that? And then you're like, where's the goddamn guy? I need someone to help me, who you just told 4 minutes ago, no, thanks, just looking. It's not because you're just looking. It's because you've been trained to say, no, thanks, just looking when he says, hi, can I help you? Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information, I just wish I could actually get it implemented, and I wish I could get some help? Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge, and we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon. So I found a lot of power in if you feel it, say it. So if I'm talking with Jackson and, say my process is to talk about the way that we're going to clean and say, how's that feel? I go, how's that feel, Jackson? Like, it's okay. I feel good. And I'm like, I just have a vibe that he doesn't feel good. Right. Or, the price is $400 a month. How does that feel? It's okay. Anytime I get or do you need your wife here? Like, it seems like she'd have, no, she doesn't care. Anytime we get something, or say maybe even Jackson just doesn't, he thinks I'm full of it. I could just tell he's like, oh, then just say it. Hey, Jackson, I know you probably had other salespeople, and I've had salespeople, and it's the worst. And I kind of feel like you think I'm a dirty salesperson, which makes me feel like a dirty salesperson. Have I done something to offend you? Or what can I do to like just make us have a super normal conversation and not make this whole thing weird? Like Jackson is probably going to be like, oh, not a salesperson, a human being. I'll just tell him, yeah, well, I had a guy, or you did say this thing, or blah, blah, blah. Or he'll realize he's being a jerk for no reason, or not for no reason, just because that's what he's been trained by other bad salespeople to do, and give himself permission to be like, oh, no, I'm just having a bad day. Like, let's go ahead and talk. So the frustrating part is usually we perceive if I feel it, say it as a problem, right? Jackson's angry with me. He doesn't trust me. He thinks I'm too expensive, something negative. And usually it is something like that. And we think if we just ignore it, it'll magically go away if we talk enough. So that we double or triple down on the talking and we need to double or triple down on the listening. So if you feel something funky, when I say it, just call it out. Hey man, sounds like when you were super excited about getting the cleaning, when I said it's $500 a month, you got super sad. Like, walk me through it, dude. What's going on? just a super calm and casual, tell me what's really happening. Because the goal, again, if it's the pressure into buying something, I would never talk about how expensive it is because he might get a chance to not buy and I would have to tackle him. Right. But if the goal is just to get to the bottom of it, we can just be like, I'm confused. You said you were super excited about cleaning. Now you seem super bummed. What happened, man? It was the price. All right. Well, tell me about that. What did you think? What's going on? Help me understand. So, again, back to the questions. Jackson's making many facial expressions for those of you on the podcast. Don't know if he's got a comment, a question, maybe a rude remark. Jackson, I'm feeling, Jackson, you've got something to say. Can you tell me what's going on in your head, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I I want to say this is obviously it's very good when you're in these sales conversations, but it's also, good practice like just during normal life. Because I have conversations like that with my wife sometimes, where or she'll have those conversations back with me if I'm because normally we're both pretty high energy people, and we've been together for 11 years now, married for a couple, and
So for Jackson, that's like half his life, right
yeah,
there.
it's basically
Yeah.
my whole adult life I've been with
Yeah.
my wife, thank God. But yeah, so it's that exact situation where it's like, oh, here you go, we're not going to talk about anything more. Like, let's pivot back and get to the root of it, and kind of open up that door of what that pain is and why you're acting this way. And like Mike said, sometimes it might be because of something you said or their mindset of it, or they just were having a crappy day. But if you're, as human beings, we match each other's energy. So if they're low energy or getting defensive or putting up that wall, yeah, like you said, one of two things happens. You become the fast talker and you start spitting all this stuff out, and all they're going is they're giving you the okay,
Yeah.
okay response, or your energy dips way low and you sound like a slug when you're talking to them, and they're still giving you that defensive wall and you get nowhere. And then it perpetrates that bad mindset of I suck at sales. This
Mhm.
sales is awful. I never want to do it again. When in fact, if you literally just nip that in the bud, if you're going real good and then all of a sudden something changes, well, obviously let's revisit it and see, why. Just ask why, man. People love to talk. People will talk about themselves when given the opportunity to do so. And you're not exploiting that or anything because you're doing it to, genuinely help them in what's going on, right?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Is if obviously like the word manipulate has a pretty negative connotation.
Yes.
But if I need to manipulate my son not to walk into traffic or not to do something dangerous for him, I will manipulate the pants off of that dude to the best of my ability. So with sales, and I'm not saying sales is manipulation, but just with many of the words that we have bad connotations with, I look at intent. So if I'm manipulating Jackson because I want to help him solve his problem, whether it benefits me or not, I'm willing to be a little manipulative. I'd rather be honest and straightforward and all that. But if I, say and do things that I think are going to help or ask questions to help him get to a result that's going to serve him, that's what coaches do, right? That's what we get paid to do is manipulate you. It's just the matter is, are we doing it for your best interest or our best interest? That's why it's so scary sometimes taking a coach because you're like, I'm literally paying you to manipulate or a hypnotist or something. What if he tries to get me to do something weird, right? So I really look at intent. So just I would encourage you before you walk into any sales situation, just like, what's my goal here? And again, just like Jackson said with your spouse or people that are close to you, my goal with my wife is to manipulate her to serving me or saying I'm right or doing things the way I want them. We're probably going to get some resistance and we're going to fight. But if my goal is just to understand, like, help me understand, baby, what's going on? Why are you upset? How can I help? Like, it's hard to have conflict. So you're absolutely right. What works well in a sales circumstance, which is a very certain. By the way, a lot of times when you're done selling, you're tired. It's almost like you're being a psychiatrist. You're asking questions. You're really trying to serve them. And people,
Always
I think
tired. Yeah.
we talk and we do. And last thing we'll call it. Another thing I see people that don't make a lot of money in sales do is they do what's comfortable for them. So perfect example when it comes to, we'll go residential cleaning, but it'd be similar to commercial. What's comfortable for me is to talk about cleaning. Well, this is dirty and we can do a clean job. And let me tell you, and our people are the best and we don't cut corners and we clean them and our people and we do the best and we're the magic. But that's what everybody does. And it really feels good to us. And the client's not going to say don't do that, but it's not really serving them. we're comfortable. That's the biggest shift we have when we're training people to clean is they want to talk about them and how good their service is because it's what they're comfortable with. But what's effective is asking a question, understanding the client's pain, and having them feel like this person's an advocate for me. They're trying to help me get what I want, not get what they want. So, yeah, last thing I want to say is just, gosh, there's so much in this. Be advocate for the person. People will feel it. Do what's best for the client, not what's comfortable for you. And what's comfortable for us is to talk about ourselves. But if we're honest, just saying that this is right where it ties back into marketing. We want to do the same thing in marketing. We're great. We're the best. We clean green. We do this. We use this kind of equipment, chemicals, whatever the case may be, fill in the blank. But people don't care. They want to hear about them. Like when we advertise or market to you, Jackson's never done an ad for us that says, Mike's a genius and he's super rich and like he's the best coach that ever coached, he's laughing because it's such a ridiculous premise. And you guys
That'd be
laugh
so
going,
funny.
yeah, oh my God. If I really hated money and just had a couple grand I had to get rid of quick, that's a great way to do it. Just put
Yeah.
pictures of me, how great I am. Oh, people actually, yeah, not only get rid of money, but get rid of people that used to like me, start hating me. So we talk about you guys and your pain and what you're going through because that's what you care about. And everyone gets it on that end, but then they go to their clients and start talking about how good they clean. So if you would prefer us talking about what you guys are struggling with and how to help, well, then when you go to your clients, talk about what they're struggling, both in sales and marketing and one-to-one and one-to-many, talk about what they're struggling with, what they need, not, which is less comfortable, right? Because we have to listen and focus on the other person and serve them. Whereas talking about us is oftentimes we feel in service to us. All right. I feel like I vomited everything I need to vomit. Jackson, what did I miss? What would you like to add as we wrap?
No, I think this is really good. And yeah, I obviously I don't do sales a lot. But
Well, it's funny. You do sales all the time, one to many, and never
yeah,
or rarely one to one.
very rarely one to one. At least with our cleaning people. But again, yeah, it boils down to, you know, truly trying to assist with their problem. And the funniest thing is you'll realize once you start doing that, and even the ones you don't get, give it 3 months, give it a month, give it time, they're so much more likely to come back to you because of the value you provided to them at that point in time on that initial conversation. And because of the way you premise everything and you have everything set up with them, it just makes it so much easier to grow. So
That triggered what I'm going to leave you guys with, which is a parting gift or thought that I think will be of use. Again, I've managed so many sales teams, I kind of know what all the things that aren't effective look like. A lot of people give the old like, oh, like if Jackson's my sales manager, yeah, I talked to Steve and he's going to buy and he really liked me. And Steve never liked me and he's never going to buy. He just asked for my brochure to get me the heck out of there. So what happened is I left the conversation feeling really good, but I didn't serve Steve because Steve's probably not any clearer on his problem. He's probably not going to take any action. He was spending so much of his energy trying to get me out of his space so he can move on with his life. He didn't have time to really get anywhere. So like what Jackson said is, maybe they'll come back in 3 months. I found sales is a lot of fun. If you're like every single person I talked to today in a sales role left the conversation better than they came. Some are going to buy because if we give enough value, it's reasonable. Why would they? Of course, they're going to want us to help them. So that's a reasonable outcome. But many aren't going to be a fit. And I don't want them to feel better like, oh, I had a nice conversation. I really enjoyed Mike. That's a bonus if it happens, but I don't care. I want them to leave going, wow, I got some clarity. And maybe he wasn't the nicest guy, but boy, oh boy, was he honest. And wow, he cared more about helping me than he cared about selling me. That's what I'm looking for. And because again, can we make everybody buy? No, of course not. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting, right? Moving on. So, but if I can go, I'm going to make sure every person I have a conversation with, I do everything with my power to make sure they leave better than they came. They get some clarity. They get some next steps. They get heard. I mean, I hate to get weird about it, but I truly, truly think as I talk to people, some percentage, 20 or 30%, no one's listened to them. Like I listened to them, just not their spouse, not their kids, nobody, just really listened and gave a crap, sometimes in months, God forbid years. So even if you just give them that gift of like, I'm here, I care about you, I'm going to listen, like for real. I really want to hear, and I'm going to do everything I can to help. That's a real gift. And one of the best things when a sales mentor for me said, serve them all and let God sort them out. Right. So we're going to like just give everyone the love and the respect and help to the best of our ability. Some will get paid on, some we won't, but it could be a ton of fun, especially with longevity, right? If you feel like I'm trying to take from everybody I sell to, even if you make money, it's hard to do long term. But if you feel like everybody leaves better than they came and some buy and some don't, you can not get through, but you can sell for a lot longer and feel better about it. And shockingly tend to make more money. So hopefully that was helpful. Guys, gals, if you're like, that was good, I want more information, you can jump on Instagram, podcast, YouTube, all the things. I think we got a Facebook group with a community. If you're like, that's really good, but I need someone to help me one-on-one. Like, I don't like you guys talking. I have questions. I yell at the thing and nobody will ever talk to me. Feel free to reach out and we'll see if we can't get someone to help you with a little more personalized adaptation so we can take this general knowledge and help you apply it to your specific situation. So what we do all day, every day. We love helping owners like you guys. Reach out. Let us know how we can help. We'll talk soon. See ya. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It'd mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.